This is my Atari 65XE, but it's got a problem. It has no colour, which makes games a sad affair, but we're going to fix it right now. Mark fixes stuff. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. You can get an instant quote on a variety of services, or browse a library of talented makers' designs, add them to your cart, and have them delivered directly to your door. Terry and Dave are less than impressed at the lack of colour in Bounty Bob Strikes Back, so we're going to open up this Atari and see if we can find the root cause of the lack of colour. Opening the main case is really easy, with there just being 4 screws holding it all together. And with the final screw coming out, all we're going to need to do is flip it over and lift off the case. Yes, it's filthy, but I intend to clean that in another video. Be a bit careful when you move the keyboard because there's a ribbon connector just underneath this corner. Just grip it with your fingers and pull it out. It's not the first time that someone's pulled this off. And another clue that somebody else has been inside this machine is here. These metal tabs should be twisted, but they're still straight. We're following somebody else. Hold on to your hats, YouTube. And immediately we can see the object that I will suspect most. I'm also horrified to see that this Atari is full of MT memory, which is known to fall over at the drop of a hat. But we won't change it today because it's working. And I'm actually toying with the idea of maxing out the memory. But back to this crystal. Colour is encoded into a PAL television image at 4.433618 MHz. So when colour goes missing, I come knocking on this little fellow's door. And I've not even got my leads in the right place when I notice something. As soon as I touch the crystal, the colour jumps back on the screen. Albeit noisily, but that noise is probably being injected by the meter. Further percussive testing shows that the black and white and colour alternates depending on how often I flick the crystal. And that's a good name for a jazz band. Flick the crystal. Well, I'm pretty sure we've at least partially found the culprit here. You'll be unsurprised to learn that this is quite a common part in a lot of PAL machines, so I've got a bag of them. And they're branded Ho-Sonic, which sounds like one of those adult parodies. Scarred for life from that Pokemon movie, I wasn't ready. Powering off, we pull out our cables. We're going to need to get the board out to remove that crystal. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. They really didn't want this board falling out. Luckily the screws are all pretty shallow and really easy and fast to take out. And with all the screws removed, it's very simple just to lift up the board and remove it from the case. Let's move this to one side and put the board back into view. So first we're going to desolder the old part, put the new part in and then test it. Now we could use the old school solder pump, but I think I'm going to treat myself to using the desoldering station. The luxury. We are ready for liftoff. Under the watchful gaze of Terry and Dave. This board is a bit big for this holder, but it'll do for now. I'm heating up the desoldering station to 340 degrees centigrade. And this desoldering station is a lot quicker to get up to temperature than my old one. And seems to work a lot better as well. And with a little fiddle, the part drops out. As easy as that. Now we need to put the new part into position. Gotta go fast. Turning on the soldering iron to the same 340 degrees centigrade, I get ready to place the part in the board, but I notice that my tip's a bit dirty. I give it a quick rub on some wire wool, and then a nice little coating of some fresh solder. Before I slip it firmly into the stand. This is my part forming tool. It's for bending resistors and things into the right shape for PCBs, but it has these handy slots on the end which are great for forming legs on diodes and crystals. Just a quality of life thing really. I 3D printed it. Thingiverse I think. Once we slip the part into the board, we want it to be neat as we solder, so I'm using this piece of Kapton tape to hold it into position. Next I'm going to use a badly green screen kitten to distract you from the fact that I forgot to press record on the camera when I soldered. Moving swiftly on. With the soldering done, we move the stuff out the way and pop the board on the bench top. A satisfying peel. And also lift the can up slightly so it's not touching anything on the board. I'm going to test the board outside of the computer case, so we're popping in the power and the video. That's all we need at this point. So let's flip the switch and pray for colour. And the system bootstraps, and it's in colour, which proves that that component was the problem. That's good enough for me, but we need to do some testing. First, let's put the machine back together. It's much easier to attach the lower RF shield to the board before you put the board back in, otherwise you can't get it lined up. With the lower board in, it's time to pop the screws in. I'm feeling lazy, so I'm going to use my Kaiweets ES20 electric screwdriver. With a lot of bits, very suitable for all your retro gaming repair needs. Actually it's dirt cheap and there's a link below. There are two lengths of screws which have come out of this Atari, and the ones that hold the motherboard in are these shorter ones. Let's do this really quickly. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you like my work and would like to support me in doing more of it, perhaps you'd like to become a patron at patreon.com/MarkFixesStuff. You'll get ad-free early access to all my videos and access to patron-only videos from behind the scenes. Popping on our metal shielding, we need to do those tabs up. I can't just leave this shielding rattling around like it was before. So many tabs. And another tab. Oh blimey, there's tabs around the back as well. And finally, the last tab, but it is important. With the shielding on, we can replace our keyboard. Yes, I know it's grotty, and I will clean it in another video. Like a glove. Finally, we place the top shell of the computer back on and flip the computer over to put the fairly minimal 4 screws back in that will hold the computer together. These are the longer ones, remember? Ensuring that the screws are properly seated in the thread, we do them all up, but not too tightly. And that's our computer back together. But what should we test with? Well, we're going to use this Retrocomputer shack cable, this original power supply, and to avoid the pain of loading from tape, we're going to use this Uno Cart A8. It works on Atari XL and XE computers, and it's really handy. Carts on the XE series go in the back. Lovely. And we're also using this lovely custom joystick sent to me by Immortal Joysticks to my precise specification. I know I'm a bit weird wanting the buttons at the front, but that's where I like them. Now let's go for it. Hooray! More colour! Oh, I like colour on my Atari. To navigate the menu you have to use these arrow keys, something that threw me when I first got the cartridge. I thought the joystick port wasn't working. As I play some games, something becomes very clear very quickly. I'm absolutely terrible at these games. I mean, I literally can't get off of the first sheet. Yes, I did call it a sheet. One game I remember from the hazy days of my youth is Caverns of Mars. I used to play this on my cousin's Atari 400. I've got really good memories of this game, along with Star Raiders. But something else becomes apparent as I'm playing. I'm really bad at this as well. Well, I'm happy. I hope you're happy. Thank you so much to everyone involved, and thank you so much to my amazing patrons. I literally cannot do this without you. Oh look, another cat. How are all these cats getting in? Anyway, yeah, patrons. Thanks patrons, you are the best and I love you very much. If you'd like to become a patron and experience my loving, go to patreon.com/MarkFixesStuff to support the channel. And I'll be super grateful. I'll buy some cat treats and stuff. Hang on, am I a cat lady now? I mean like a lady that likes cats, not a mixture of a cat and a lady. Because that would be weird. Go and watch one of these other videos. See you later. Bye.